She's ready to bring out the big guns, those infamous photos of Jamie disposing of his biological father's body at the train station. One little problem: Jamie's not backing down. Instead of cowering, Jamie pulls out an ace of his own. He knows all about the skeletons in the Dutton family closet. Apparently, John's been sending way more than just Jamie's dad to the train station over the years. Yeah, you heard that right. John Dutton, the man we've all seen as Montana's iron-fisted governor, has been using the train station as his personal graveyard. This obviously leaves Beth and Jamie at a standstill. Beth's big threat has lost some of its power, and Jamie's got the upper hand now, knowing something that could blow the lid off the Dutton family empire. Plus, let's be real, Jamie's not exactly the type to hold back when he smells blood in the water. He could easily take his revenge to the next level and spill the beans to the police about his father's shady dealings. If Jamie pulls that trigger, we could see John on the run from the law in Part 2, trying to dodge prison while the family's dirty secrets come to light. This could also explain Kevin Costner's absence in the season. John Dutton going into hiding would make perfect sense for the storyline. Either that, or John might just decide that stepping down will be his way out of the chaos for good. Kevin Costner's character moves out of Montana. Even though John suddenly moving out of Montana might be unbelievable on the surface, it could make sense if the writers do it right. You see, it's obvious that Jamie dropping the impeachment bomb has pushed John's political career to the brink. It wouldn't be surprising that John, tired of the constant battles, the bloodshed, and the never-ending stress of protecting the ranch, decides it's time to walk away. Maybe he's realized he's given everything to the Yellowstone Ranch, but it's a fight he can't win forever. Sure, John stepping down as governor and leaving the state feels like a stretch in this high-stakes drama. But consider this. He's a man who's been running on fumes for years, constantly fighting to keep the land, protect his family, and outsmart his enemies. After Jamie's betrayal and the looming impeachment, maybe John decides to bow out gracefully, leaving the political circus behind and vanishing from Montana's spotlight for good. It's a bold move, and sure, it's not something we'd expect from the man who's been Montana's governor for years. But in the world of Yellowstone, the unexpected is always lurking just around the corner. Could John Dutton leave the state of his own volition, handing over the torch to the next generation of Duttons? It seems unlikely, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. What if, though, Jamie decides he doesn't have the time to play the long game and pulls the trigger on his own father? Jamie kills John. At the end of Part 1, Jamie tells Sarah Atwood he's ready to kill both his father John and his sister Beth. Sarah's got the connections to get the job done, and Jamie? He's all in. He's bloodthirsty and out for revenge, and it wouldn't be shocking at all if he's the one who ends up taking John out. But here's the twist. While Jamie might strike first, the real winner in the Dutton family showdown is likely to be Beth. You see, Beth has wanted Jamie dead for years, and her hatred for him has only grown. Mainly because Jamie was the one who had her sterilized without her permission. Since then, the two have been at odds, and Jamie's betrayal in the Season 5 finale gives Beth all the excuse she needs to finally get rid of him. If Jamie kills John, it's almost a guarantee that Beth will be the one to take Jamie down. The Dutton family war isn't over yet, and Beth seems poised to win. As for whether John's absence is tied to this deadly sibling rivalry, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Here's the kicker, though. If Jamie's plot flops, the writers might just shuffle John off on a convenient political errand. John is away on business. After all, he's the governor of an entire state, so a little out-of-town work doesn't sound too far-fetched, right? The problem, though, is that sending John off on a business trip wouldn't exactly tie up his storyline in a satisfying way. It's the kind of quick fix that makes fans roll their eyes. But hey, when have TV writers ever been above a little cop-out? However, if they decide to get really creative, there might be some dramatic yet sensible solutions. Maybe they'll say he's off to secure some big political deal to protect Montana's land, knowing he'll never come back. Or maybe he'll disappear during a mysterious diplomatic mission, adding a bit of dramatic flair to his exit. Either way, we're likely looking at an out-of-sight, out-of-mind scenario. It's hard to imagine Yellowstone without John Dutton. He's the heart, soul, and fists of the whole show. Sure, a governor's trip might wrap up his character on paper, But let's be real, it's not the explosive, satisfying end we were hoping for. It's more like a slow fade out, leaving us with questions, frustration, and a Dutton-sized hole in our hearts. Now, the writers could scrap all that and have John taken out of the picture by someone no one suspected. John is killed by a different Yellowstone villain. What if it isn't Jamie Dutton who finally takes down John? At this point in the show, everyone knows that John spent years ruffling every feather in Montana. He's made more enemies than Jamie could even keep track of, so really, anyone could be the one to send him 6 feet under. Now, this doesn't mean that all eyes are off Jamie. Everyone's waiting to see if he finally snaps and makes good on his threats. However, how convenient would it be for him if someone else stepped in and handled the job for him? Enter Sarah Atwood and her gang, led by the ever-mysterious Caroline Warner. They could very easily decide to pull the trigger and hire a hitman to take John out of the picture. This way, Jamie's hands stay squeaky clean, and he gets to live guilt-free while someone else does the dirty work. It's a juicy way for Jamie to ditch Dad without the blood on his hands. And honestly, it's not a stretch with the shady crowd John's up against. But wait, it gets even better. What if one of John's other kids, aka Beth and Casey, finally snaps and decides it's time to end this Dutton family war once and for all? Maybe Beth, with her fiery temper and love-hate relationship with Daddy Dearest, finally says, "Enough is enough." Or maybe it's Casey, who's been dragged into the family drama for too long and wants to protect his own family. Either way, a family betrayal would take this saga to a whole new level of drama. Then, for the biggest wild card of all, what if a total stranger, a face we've never seen before, rolls into town and takes John out? It does sound crazy, but in the chaotic world of Yellowstone, stranger things have happened. Sure, it might seem far-fetched, but think about it. John's list of enemies isn't exactly short, and a random hit could be the ultimate twist nobody saw coming. But here's a thought. What if John's end doesn't come from a bullet or betrayal, but from a crash worthy of his high-stakes life? Kevin Costner's character dies in an accident. Similar to John dying of natural causes, it would be easy to have Kevin Costner's character die in an accident. Sure, Taylor Sheridan has already slammed the door on the car crash theory. In fact, he pretty much went off on the idea, saying he doesn't do car crashes just for the sake of drama. He's got a point, after all. Yellowstone is about gritty, raw storytelling, not gimmicky shock value. So that car crash theory is dead in the water, but let's not write off the idea of John dying in an accident altogether. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What if John passes in something a little more fitting for the Dutton lifestyle? A plane or helicopter crash? John's a man of action, a rancher who's always on the go. It wouldn't be out of left field for him to be flying around Montana for business. This could be a sneaky way to explain Costner's absence in the episodes without having to bring him back for a dramatic final scene. The best part? It still fits with the show's need for a dramatic exit, and it gives John the kind of exit that feels in line with his high-stakes, larger-than-life persona. While many fans expect John to die naturally in Season 5, Part 2, an accident, just not a car crash, could be a fitting way to end his arc. Either way, John's fate is sealed, and we're just waiting for it to happen. Now, everyone assumed that Yellowstone would wrap up with Season 5, and Taylor would shift his focus to other spin-offs in the universe. However, according to some reports, Paramount is seriously considering a 6th season. The season will be headlined by Beth and Rip. While fans were initially led to believe that Season 5 Part 2 would be the grand finale, the latest teaser for the November 10th premiere seems to suggest otherwise. There was literally no mention of this being the final chapter. Could there be more in store for the Duttons? Cole Hauser, aka Rip Wheeler, isn't leaving much room for a comeback though. When chatting with US Magazine, he hinted that this could be the end of the road, saying, "It's been a great ride with everyone involved." Sounds like he's prepared for a serious finale moment. But then there's Kelly Riley. She's a bit more open to the idea of more Yellowstone, but with a twist. In an interview with EW, she said nothing is set in stone, but added that if Taylor wants to write it, she would want to do it. While she's all in for more action, she does acknowledge that things can't stay the same forever. The story is ending. Yellowstone as we know it is ending, she said, but hinted that if the Dutton saga continues, it'll definitely feel different. So, will John Dutton make a final appearance on the show, or will he be silently written off the show? Regardless of that, Season 5 Part 2 is surely geared up to give Yellowstone fans a supposed ending to an incredible saga. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Yellowstone Final Episode Leaked, Who's Going to the Train Station?